Good morning and welcome to Mental Health Matters. This is our office hours show where we talk about all things workplace wellbeing. I'm Dr Audrey Tang and my co-host is Judith Crosier, and today's guest is a returning guest. It's Sandra Stein. She is a Gestalt therapist. She focuses on the holistic approach to therapy, and she's here to talk to us about working from home and the problems that can arise in households, in families, in the workplace as well, and look at ways in which that we could manage that. So let's head over and have that chat.
Good morning and welcome to Mental Health Matters Office Hours, where we have Sandra Stein in the studio. Well, she's on Zoom, we're in the studio, and we're talking about the impact that working from home has had on our physical and mental health. Welcome, Sandra. Sandra, working from home has huge benefits, the flexibility, the lack of the commute, and being in comfort in our own home. But there have been some problems as well with maybe technology, lack of connectivity, with your team and your colleagues, and sometimes loneliness as well. But there's a lot of protest amongst some people about getting back to the office, kind of in general. So what's your opinion on the benefits and the issues of working from home?
Yeah, I was thinking about this just minutes before our interview, and I was looking at my own experience working from home and working from a clinic setting, and I was wondering. I was reflecting how I felt when I met a couple of the therapist colleagues that also see clients from the same building. And when I walk in and we welcome each other and we sort of have a quick chit chat about how it's been for us professionally and in our personal lives, and how healthy and warming it is to have that human connection with another colleague versus how it is to work from home, which I do 2 to 3 days a week. And it's very isolating. It's me, my clients, but me, myself, and, between clients. And it's a world of difference to be able to step out of the professional mind and connect with somebody and have a smile, have a giggle, have a joke, literally just give my whole self a break and a very quick recharge to then get into the working shoes again. And I suppose working from home, in my own experience and from the experiences I have heard from my clients, it's very hard to have that break. It's very hard to have that boundary between the working person, working personality, and everything that comes with it, the stress, the thinking mode, and everything that comes with it, I suppose, and the not working persona, the not working moment, a break, the recharge, and everything also that comes with it, which is to step out of the role that you have into a new, brand new, fresh environment, even if it's for 10 minutes, 5 minutes with somebody else, with another person.
Just whilst you were talking, I love that you said working persona and not working persona, because we so often just say personal and professional and don't really think what that means.
That's a good point, yeah.
You can be professional in your personal life, but it's I'm working, I'm in the work mindset, or I'm in the not work mindset. That really hammers that home to me, and I work from home, so that's really been very helpful, a distinction.
Yes, it's almost like you have to metaphorically put another hat on or something, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, thank you.
That's all right.
So other than practical reasons and technology reasons, let's break down the problems a bit more. So why, when we have more time and flexibility when we're at home, are we lonelier?
Amazing question. I do believe that we thrive having structure. And I say that, again, from my own personal sort of assessment and being a very keen observant of my own actions and reactions according to how I change my lifestyle. But also I see how my clients thrive, evolve, and even heal, having a bit more of structure, discipline, boundaries in their own lives. And that can be adapting to a new lifestyle, that can be adopting exercises, mindfulness, more sort of a mindfulness oriented way of going through life. And when you work from home, as I said before, leaving the persona, the working persona, to not working persona is really hard, because the whole home is just one environment. It becomes complicated even for you to do the shift within yourself, within your being. So to have a structure of what time I'm waking up, to get a train at what time, to then, and then before that breakfast, and then what time can I go to the gym, and what time do I need to get to work, and so on and so forth. And then when do I need a break? When would I have a break? Even if you don't think about doing it voluntarily, putting all these little structures in place, they will happen anyway.
Yes.
Because working out there and having to relate to the world, you have to have a certain order of doing things. Whereas working from home, you're not challenged by these orders. You're not challenged by what kind of structure and limitations and boundaries you have to apply in order to make the day more efficient.
Oh, God, that makes so much sense.
That's really nice. And that I can see how it impacts professionally and how you do your work. And I think relating to that, there's that other aspect of the other structures that are inbuilt into a work environment, such as a cafe or tea breaks or something like that. The opportunity to just recharge, relax a little bit, have that little conversation. And I say that because I have a client who works from home, and I've actually had to say to him, go out for lunch. Take your lunch hour outside so that you don't just sit in that one home office and that's all you do all day. Because it's so easy to fall into the habit of, I just go downstairs and make a sandwich.
Yes.
And you can,
yes.
But is there any interaction? Is there any recharging? So how does that almost informal structure of work also help us become more productive people?
Those are the moments where you get a chance to, as I said in my own experience, of chatting with somebody about anything that's not working related.
Yeah.
It's just a little break that you get out from that doing. And it's so important, I understand how people are more moving forward, and that's a movement, moving forward to comfort, to be more comfortable, to be less challenged. And I think that's a problem in itself, because, mental health is through the roofs now. And at the same time, there's more people seeking to be less challenged, which is also to not be with people, right? Because being with other people, it is challenging. But at the same time, it makes you more creative, makes you more inspired. I think these moments that contain the going out for a break, having lunch together with somebody, having a chat in the elevator, they are so important, and they are one of the most important layers of working from an office, a building where everybody gets together, is the human connectivity.
Yes, it's an energy that you feel
Yes.
when you see people.
Yes.
And even if you are just saying to somebody in the cafe, could I have a coffee, please?
Yeah.
You're still having to talk to them. And I think
Absolutely.
that is important,
It's very
especially if you are
important.
just in front of a screen at home. But then there's other issues as well, because new people, if a team is half remote, you don't get to know who they are, you don't get to meet them, you don't get to, I guess, experience the culture. Do we need to start almost putting it into the job description? And I know it will appeal, therefore, to some people who want to work from home, but also to say, well, maybe you can come in, or how do organisations need to work so that those who want that contact get what they need, but also those who maybe can't or work far away or something like that, it's not so important, they're not missing out? I mean, that's a big question, but how can organisations accommodate?
I think organizations, they need to be mindful of something that's happening for people that work full-time from home.
Yes.
Is that they are becoming less keen to meet with the team when there is meetups. Yes. They are becoming more anxious about meeting people when is required to meet up. And there is a cascade events and psychologically and emotionally that happens with all of that, the anxiety and the nervousness, the stress of meeting people when you've been a bit isolated from being face to face physically with somebody. And there is also a social skill atrophy that happens.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, and I think organizations, this life and work balance, the movement when it happened, it was, it promised a better life quality for everybody. But I just think is going to the extreme and getting to a point where it's taking away the life and social skills from people by just letting them work from home full time if they need to. I don't think it's a positive thing. I don't think it's constructive. I think everything needs to be balanced, right? In measure. And I mean, if I was to to advise a CEO, how should you go about that? Well, how about you find a balance between working from home, working from the office?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure there's room to strike a balance there.
Yeah.
And you're so right to talk about this social atrophy, because I think it's very easy to happen. And I've spoken on a previous show in Business Boost about how it's not necessarily survival of the fittest, it's survival of the best fit. And unless you keep challenging yourself to fit to different environments, unless you keep sort of working to be able to adapt, I think we can disappear and lose our relevance and lose our edge. And another thing you said there, it really sort of resonated with me, that it becomes very easy to make your world very small if you do work from home. Yes. I have a friend who has been off work with bereavement leave for a very long time, but she really wants to go back because she can see herself changing and not wanting to go back to the workplace, despite loving work and wanting to be part of it, but because she's just got so used to being in that small kind of space and quite on her own. So I think your point about asking CEOs, what's the actual balance? What's the real balance here is really key. Sandra, we're keeping you and we'll be back just after this.
Navigating today's workplace is tough.
Toxic employees, endless drama, a lack of motivation. We've all been there.
But fear not, we are here to help. My name is Leanne and I'm a chartered psychologist.
My name is Al and I'm a business owner. And together we dig into the scientific and commercial secrets behind great workplace cultures in Truth, Lies and Work.
A no-nonsense, award-winning psychology podcast brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network. We explore practical strategies for building a great workplace.
We debunk buzzwords and bring you the very best advice around finding and keeping great people, from personality tests.
Personality tests they're mostly bollocks. I don't know what kind of language you do on your podcast. I don't know if people know this, but the man who wrote the Wonder Woman comics is the person who invented the disc.
When more flexible working became a norm, you no longer hurt your career prospects by being the one person who worked flexibly.
All the way to avoiding high turnover.
We recruit and promote people to managerial roles based on their technical skills, not their people skills. This is a very fundamental problem we have, which we haven't directly tackled.
From toxic-free cultures,
interventions for the individual are only half the answer. Systemic change is the other half.
to sustainable growth.
Thinking beyond just paying somebody a good salary, I think is is super necessary now. We have to offer so much more than that.
We have got you covered.
So join us on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where we help you to simplify the science of work and build amazing workplace cultures.
Welcome back to Mental Health Matters Office Hours. We're here with Sandra Stein, and she is a Gestalt Therapist, and we are talking about the issues as well as some of the benefits of working from home, because we know that a lot of organisations are either fully remote or hybrid. And there are, I think, extra things, and certainly Sandra's raised a number of points which we don't often think about. And we're going to go on to the issue of physical health now.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, you mentioned when we're working, we structure. I then go to the gym, and then I walk here and I do that. But you'd have thought working from home, you've got time to exercise, you've got time to go to the gym because you can do that yourself. But a recent study seems to suggest we're getting less and less fit. So why, and what can we do about that?
Well, it goes back again to the structure, the self-structure. When you are challenged by anything and everything as being out there, going to work, you're socializing, you're relating to other people. In some ways, you are made to look at yourself, and automatically you do compare yourself with other peers, and you observe how well you're doing physically. Are you looking after yourself like that person is? Do you look as fit and as healthy as that person is? Maybe I should go to the gym. Maybe I should take up running. So the connection with other people also poses us to think about ourselves. But when you are in isolation, you're just with yourself. So it's so easy to just sink into, again, the comfort of, it's fine, I do it tomorrow, it's okay, next week. And that goes on and on and on, and you neglect more and more your physical health, your health in general. Mind you, there's always a mental health impact connected to how you are looking after your physicality. So structure and self-discipline, it's very much involved in the self-care of your physical health. And mind you, this is a data that I think everybody should keep in mind, is from 30 years of age, your bone density, your bone mass starts to wear away, to wear out, it gets thinner, right? And if you don't exercise to compensate that by lifting weights and, mostly lifting weights, which helps the bone density to increase, of course, you're going to grow more fragile. Of course, you're going to grow more weak, physically speaking, because you're sitting for a long time, you're not moving, you're not exercising, and genetically, you're just getting your bones and your body's getting thinner and more frail.
Yes.
That happens to all of us.
Yes. And what you raised there, Sandra, there was the point that work embeds a lot of this in there naturally. Yeah. And if we're going out to work, we are commuting, so we're getting to the train station or getting out of our car and walking to a certain place. We might be carrying some of our stuff with us. I remember working for the NHS in an administrative capacity, and I had to carry medical records pretty much from one end of the building to the other end of the building. I was exercising without having to make time to go to the gym. Work allows for that. So, thank you for bringing that up, because I don't think we consciously talk about that enough. There's another aspect of working from home which we do talk about at the moment, and that's something called presenteeism. The idea that even if you're ill, you still need to put the computer on because you're only on the computer. It's just there. We're not really allowing ourselves the space to heal. And I think this will go back to your difference between the work and not work personas. But how does that need to show up or show that I'm showing up? How does that impact our mental health?
I think there's something from the person's experience that's working from home, which is, I heard so many times, and I will say here out loud, which is the guilt of, I have this privilege to work from home. So if I am unwell, but I can still log on, I will log on. It's a way, it's a kind of distorted way to compensate for the comfort of working from home. Right? And it's, of course, it's counterproductive because you're pushing yourself beyond your limits. Your body, your soul, your mind is telling you to stop, take a break. But there's a part of you that goes like, come on, you're not commuting, you're not carrying anything to work. There's very little you need to do in order to work. You just need to sit and log on and do da 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 da. So why not? So there's always that dialogue inside the person's mind, which then it becomes very difficult to engage with the self-empathy, self-compassion, and even self-boundaries of, I'm not feeling well, I'm not well, I need to rest. I need to stop and I need to rest. But then how easy can, if you think from the point of view of, again, the work environment, home environment, how easy is for you to say, right, I'm not feeling well, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to work. But if work is just upstairs, so how does that work?
That's so true.
In someone's mind? It's very tricky, and that is happening. That is happening in people's homes.
Yeah.
And that complexity is also sitting next to the lack of structure, which is kind of going, oh, well, I can go to the gym tomorrow. There's so much that actually, this is why we need to talk to experts who really can break this down.
Yeah, because you're raising so many points that, because I've worked from home for a number of years, as you have, but I've never thought about it in this way. It's so interesting. And diet as well can be impacted by working from home, because if you've just got a local shop and that you're just going there to get your lunch rather than perhaps a canteen where they serve healthy food, does that make us more unhealthy? And also, are we becoming more erratic with our eating habits because we don't necessarily have to wait for lunchtime to have something to eat?
Well, let's talk about what I don't hear people discussing much, which is the boredom.
Okay.
Boredom working from home. Again, I hear that a lot. I've got to.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I just logged on. Now I'm gonna log off, and there's another meeting. And absolutely, that's a reality. And there's nothing that makes you crave more for calorie-packed and easy accessible food than boredom.
That is true.
Because that is a highlight of your day. That is a highlight of half of your day. It's something to looking forward to. You see, you're feeding something there. If you're not having that nurture of being with somebody else, being with another human, talking about, if you're not having that break with another person, being connected to another person, you will try to nurture that thing that's missing with something.
Yeah, and you're right, because I shouldn't admit this, but when you're in person in meetings, you could be passing notes under the desk. You can be looking at each other across the table, and you know this is awful and this is boring. But that's feeding you, not the crisps that if you're sat at home in a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I can see why Zoom meetings, it might be conducive to eating, because if you switch your camera off, no one can see you.
Yeah.
Wow. And is there a difference between the impact of working from home between men and women?
Is there a difference? I think, intuitively speaking, just sort of checking with myself, talking to male and female that working from home. I think male are more inclined to work from home than female.
How interesting.
What, they want to or they do?
They do. The male want to.
They want. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. And I might be absolutely wrong, but again, this is just from my own my own experience. I think female are keener to talk to their counterparts, go for coffee. They look forward to go for coffee with that person from work, whereas I feel that male are more like, let me sit here, let me do my thing, and then leave me alone. That sort of thing, but then men, what happens is all of these things that we're talking about that can happen mentally and physically from isolating, that happens to them, the social atrophy, the social anxiety, and because they don't speak about it, because there's another stigma on top of it, of men not really revealing that vulnerabilities and what they find uncomfortable with, they shut down even further than women would from the repercussions of working from home and the mental health and emotional health impact of being at home for too long, working from home for too long or full time. So that is a problem in itself. I have treated male with depression, which has a history of depression in the past. And then after COVID happened and then they have to work from home, and then COVID went away and they went back to the office in a phase manner. And some men decided to stay home because of these things we're talking about. I know I can't be bothered. It feels comfortable to be at home. Can't be bothered to the chit chat and all of that. But then what happens is they become sad, lonely, depressed, and it becomes a much bigger problem for the whole family in itself. So I'm just giving a little example of how it can impact differently, and the excitement of being in the office between male and female.
I think it's really good that you have done that, actually, because these are things that the headlines in the papers, they don't capture this. They don't talk, I don't think they talk to psychologists and counsellors and therapists who are working with people here and now. They do this little survey, and then the survey is who actually responds to the survey, and that's that, and then they make all sorts of conclusions from it. But when you're talking to people who are actually working with people who are going through those experiences, it's so much more complex. We're keeping you, Sandra. We'll be back just after this.
Our passion for coffee goes way beyond the cup. We believe in a fair production chain in which each coffee farmer plays an essential role. We are proud to support our communities and promote environmental sustainability. Bedford Coffee Roasters guarantees an exceptional experience for producers and consumers. Join us on our journey to extraordinary coffee, where quality, sustainability and fairness come together to create an experience unlike any other. Ground with passion, served with pride. Bedford Coffee Roasters, coffee worth drinking.
Welcome back to Mental Health Matters Office Hours. We're here with Sandra Stein, and we're talking about the very complex topic of working from home. On the one hand, we often hear, oh, it's great, everyone wants to do it, and everyone's resisting going back to the office, and yet there are so many complexities involved with working from home, working in the office, and so many things that can impact our mental and physical health that are actually inbuilt to support us in the workplace that we don't recognise and that we actually miss out on when we work from home. And that's what we've been discussing. So if you've just tuned in, go back to the start of the show, because Sandra raises such interesting points about the structure of work, about how our mindset can change and how social skills can atrophy. All very important topics. Another aspect of working from home is, of course, that in work, we go, oh, my back hurts, and work will provide us our ergonomically supported chair. They'll provide us with the little things for our wrists on the computer. At home, we go, oh, I'm just quite comfy. I'll put the laptop on my lap. And we're not doing our posture.
No.
We're not doing our physicality any good. So how do we get a bit of discipline and create a really physically healthy environment for ourselves at home?
At home, I think it goes back to the self-care and working from home and the lack of the separation again. You know, you slouch yourself on the couch and you put your laptop there, and you can, you know, as long as you're doing your work, it can be in any way, shape, or form is fine. You don't really, you know, I mean, when I work from home, I have my ritual to separate myself from Sandra, home person, and Sandra, the therapist. I put my jewelry, which makes me feel in a particular way. I put a nice top, I put a nice trousers, and this is me now, the therapist, available to you. I'm connecting with you. And when I finish, I take them all out. I leave on the desk, take my earrings out. My therapist was making fun of me the other day because I was taking my earrings as I talked to her because I was saying, this is not the Sandra therapist, now I'm the client. Yeah. And these little rituals, which means to me the separation and the boundary and even a structure between the working person and no working person. So I would give that as a tip, and I do say that to my clients, and they say it's very, very helpful. Yes. Even when they work, some people bring work to their homes. Yeah. Right? So they work in the office and they bring home, and they get home, they open laptop and carry on as usual. And in couples counseling, you know, the other partner is asking, you know, I want this person to be present when they come home. The children is looking forward to see them. So what do we do? And I just suggest make a little ritual to separate those two persons, these two personas, whatever it has, you know, choose your way of doing it. I just describe how I do it. And using your example about the bed posture and, you know, and doing it in any way, shape or form. Well, have some self-care, have some self-appreciation, and stipulate to yourself which area, how that area is going to be kept, how is the structure of that area, how are you going to dress, or how are you going to make yourself up to be in that working mind, working persona. And once you've finished, then undo it. Then put yourself into your pajamas or your jogging clothes or whatever it is, but leave it in the office. I mean, home office.
Yes, yes.
That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Love it. And it's so simple, actually. Yes. It is. I know you go to work, and then you come home, you take off your jacket, you get comfortable. There is no reason why we can't be doing the same ritual at home. That's so important. And I had this question written for later, but as you brought up partner wanting you to be more present, what if both partners are working from home?
Oh gosh, this is so problematic.
That's my house.
It's so well. So maybe Judith, you can step in and I don't know, contribute a little bit. But what I find is, you know, in couples, dealing with the couples and the couples that work from home, is that they miss having the house for themselves. Being on their own in the house. There's something about you being on your own in the house. It's quite freeing. Yeah. And it's very healthy because there's no one else. You're around your stuff and you don't need to talk to anybody if you don't want to. You don't need to be pleasant with anybody. You don't want to listen to anybody. You just do you. And there's something very healthy about that, because when you do that, eventually you miss being with somebody. You miss being with your partner. You miss talking to them, listening to them, connecting with them. So there's something about that craving, the missing and the craving, that is very healthy for the relationship. I have seen couples that went from loving, kind, and wanting each other to grow into, oh my God, I just need some space.
Wow.
No, that's really sad.
I just need some space. Not talking about breaking up or,
Yeah.
separating, but it's literally, I need some space. Right. And I think there's a lot there. There's a lot there because when you go to work, as we have said repeatedly here, you embody a different part of yourself. You're not the wife, you're not the mother, you're not the partner, you're not the husband. You are so-and-so.
Yeah.
And you live in that world, you experience that world with your colleagues and everything that comes with it, and the cup of coffee and the canteen and everything. And when you come home, then you embody somebody else, that other part of you, So there is, again, a separation which makes you long for both parts of yourself, makes you looking forward to be in those parts of yourself. And again, when it translates into seeing your person, your partner at the end of the day, is exciting.
Yes, whereas if you're with them the whole day...
They're there all the time, yeah, you don't get that.
No, you don't get that. What time is dinner? I'm going down soon. Okay.
Yeah.
If the dinner together happens, because you've seen each other, crossing each other, all day long. So there's no novelty there.
So relating to that, which I think is really important to talk about, you've got the ritual for one person to switch off. How does it work when you've got two people to change the environment so it's both productive to work and productive to have that home life as well for the couple?
For the couple, gosh, that's a good question, isn't it? Because I haven't thought about that ritual because it's so hard.
It is.
It is so hard. I mean, and if the house is not big enough, then, oh gosh, I will be honest. And the first thing that comes to mind is we don't talk about personal stuff during the day.
I love that.
We don't talk about, we are so-and-so, you doing your stuff, I'm doing my stuff.
Hot desking. Just
exactly.
Sort of seeing it as hot desking colleagues.
And I remember when during COVID, when I was working from home, and my husband, he drives for a living, so he was out most of the time. But when the business wasn't so good, he spent a lot of time in the house, and so was I too. But my mind, when I'm in the therapist mode, I'm so in it that I can't think about anything else. And I remember when I finished my shift, I used to go to him and say, hello, and give him a kiss. As I am literally seeing him.
I love that.
For the first time.
Yeah.
Hello.
That's really nice.
Even though we have crossed each other making coffees and this and that. And that hello for me is literally me leaving my therapist's hat and coming to Sandra's body.
Yes. That's beautiful.
Almost like you've come home from work and come in and seen him for the first time. That's really nice. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cute.
And what comes through in all of it is making an effort, isn't it? It's an effort to do your work, and then making an effort to actually be out of work mode for both of you. Yeah.
It is an effort. It is an effort, because I can imagine how hard it is also for the couple working full-time, long hours outside of the house. How little they see themselves, and that's also the other side of the spectrum. Right, and then how much space they make to connect when they have, but now we get into a different ground. We're just talking about working from home, and that could be a little ritual. At the end of the day, at 4, 5, 6, whatever your day, your working journey day is just make that eye contact. Hi, how was your day?
It's so simple, but so effective and so
really
much needed. Yeah,
really powerful.
Lovely. So, how do we set other boundaries working from home? Physical or and nutritional, mental boundaries. How can we do that?
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of discipline, right? It's not impossible, and I think also it goes from person to person because everybody, you know, has a different way of living life, living daily and lifestyle. But I would say across the board is make time for exercise. If it's not daily, make a plan weekly, because I understand that daily can be a big ask, but weekly. Make a plan exercise.
Okay.
And in nutritional sides of it, try not to keep things in your cupboard that is not healthy. Because you're gonna reach.
Yeah.
Because we tend not to give ourselves a proper healthy lunch break that you would have if you're in the office. You just go and grab as quick as possible. There's not, you know, a paced, a healthy paced day. Work day working from home, which should be the opposite, right? That's why you work from home, to have a better
life.
It's true.
Right, but you don't give that to yourself, and then you go and you grab anything as quick as possible because you need to jump into the next meeting. Well, try to then, if you can't help yourself to pace yourself like you in the office, so try to surround yourself with healthy stuff. Try to keep yourself prepare your meals in the morning, a sandwich or, you know, a rice and chicken, and keep it all organized for you to grab it whenever you have a chance. So it's like structure your day to help you.
Yes.
To be healthy.
That's a great tip.
It's about that conscious awareness again.
Yes.
We need to make these conscious choices. Sandra, it's always a pleasure to chat with you. Where can we learn more about you?
You can go to my website, it's s.a.s counseling. My Instagram, which I'm sure you will be kind enough to put the address, which I'm not remembering right now.
I will pop it in the show notes.
Thank you very much. And these two channels, you can, you know, there's my contact number, and we can chat further from there.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sandra, for your expertise in bringing to light and conscious awareness some of these complexities that we don't talk about, but that we need to talk about. There's so much more to unravel when it comes to working from home. So I do hope you'll join us on the show again on this or any other topic.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I will always be here whenever you invite me.
Oh, we love having you. So on that,
thank you.
We'll head over to Business Boost. Make sure your organisation has a domestic abuse policy. This is something that a previous guest, Dr. Stephanie Fitzgerald, has brought up on this show before. It's one of those policies which is there. It is around. Investors in People have a really good template that you can use. And it's especially important if you have people doing remote work. And the reason for that is work is sometimes the only place that people who have an abusive home life have any respite from. And if you are working on a hybrid, you may not get as much respite as you would hope for. So make sure your organisation has got a domestic abuse policy and that includes something to support remote workers. We always have the most fascinating discussions on this show.
We really do, and sometimes I think one day we're going to run out, but I don't think we will.
No, because every conversation almost unravels another thing. I think, oh my goodness,
yes.
And this is again why we have long form content. We have it because on a TikTok, on a little quick BBC interview, even with an expert, you don't have time to unpack the complexity of every single topic. And just even working from home, the awareness of work can give us, even if we don't like it, the structure to keep us healthy, that we don't impose on ourselves when we're working from home because it is comfortable.
Yes.
Sometimes we're actually our own worst enemy.
And that was a really interesting thing that came out, because I'm someone that says, oh, I don't like structure, I just want to go with the flow, but actually I need it really badly. So that really came out. That is so interesting.
Yeah, and I love when both of you are working from home.
Yeah.
treat each other almost as strangers. You're both
Yeah.
working in separate offices, and then when you come back together, it's having that hello kiss, and it's a great idea.
Yeah, so simple but effective, I'm sure, yeah.
And the other thing, and this is a personal bugbear, and Sandra didn't mention this, but this is something we all talk about, it's Zoom calls. I think it's really important to, if you're working, dress up for work. Whether you're on a Zoom call or not, don't be in your pyjamas on the bottom. Just don't.
Okay.
You know, but
No, I know what you mean, because it gives you a completely different mindset if you dress up for work. It just does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And even because I deliver webinars from home, but I don't do them seated. I have a side of the of my home office where I can turn the computer around, turn my camera around. I've got a massive whiteboard. I deliver them all as if I would do in a classroom.
Yes, that's true.
Because that my energy's different when I'm standing.
It's professional as well. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot to think about, and I think we probably need a part 2 on that.
Oh, I could have talked about that for a lot longer. Yeah, it was really, really interesting.
Well, we'd love to hear your experiences and comments. And from all of us here on Mental Health Matters Office Hours, have a healthy week.